Hello and welcome to the Friday edition of Journalists Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, President Buhari says Nigeria is poor. PDP stalwart Raymond Alewa Dokpesi says the party may not survive. And Borno State begins renovation of schools. Joining me today are Shola Ojewusi, Eneruve Enakoko, and Simon Ateba. Our discussion begins in a moment. President Muhammadu Buhari has released a bombshell. He said Nigeria is poor. He said this while receiving the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Executive Director Professor Babatunde Oshotimehin at the State House, Abuja. President Buhari said that the prudence and accountability employed by his administration in managing the nation's affairs are creating the impression of prosperity, whereas reverse was the case. The president attributed the statement to the unstable fall in prices. Gentlemen, don't you rather consider Mr. President's statement as a long-known fact? Let me start from you, Enerve.
Yes.
How did we get to where we are now?
Well, we got to where we are because basically Nigeria has been mismanaged for a very long time. And when things are going bad, it doesn't really, the effects do not really show. Although it is easier to destroy than to build. However, in the last 16 years, or 17 years in particular, since return to democratic rule, we know we are heading towards this path, especially because successive government, in particular the last administration, failed to do the needful. Well, I want to say the president was wrong by not saving. But what actually happened was that the political will was not there. Obasanjo saved during his period. Even though we still have the same set of laws. Governors were shouting that you can't save. Some of them even threatened to go to court and did all of that. But Obasanjo, as a strong leader, could put his feet down. Because that's what leadership entails, putting your feet down. Being able to take it all and still say, this am my man. So he was able to say it. The same finance minister in his government, Okonjo-Iweala, did that under him because he was a strong leader with a strong political will. That same finance minister became even a coordinating minister of the economy under the last administration, but could not do the same thing. In fact, she appeared to have failed in the last administration. And you begin to wonder, is it the same woman that was able to perform some of these good works, wonders in terms? Debt relief and so many other things under the Obasanjo administration, yet the same woman could not, failed woefully as far as I'm concerned, with all her Harvard degree and all of her pedigree in World Bank and all of that. She failed under the last administration. Why? Because we had a weak leader. That's what weak leadership does. So the last administration, at least to a large extent, is responsible for what we are facing today. However, the failure of the current administration to take us or create a pathway for us out of this mess should not be that of the last administration. A good leader does not come into government and start blaming the past administration every time, because that is what this administration has been doing. Keep on blaming the last administration. A point has to come where you have to stop and say, no, you can blame during elections and all of that, but now you are on the seat. Where is the pathway? What are you doing to take us out of the mess we are in?
So, as far as this statement is concerned, President Buhari has not attributed
No.
We are broke. He's just saying.
But that is what he has been saying before now. In fact, his government, his officials, that is what they have been saying, attributing it to the last administration. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong in saying it, but we expect him as a leader not to keep blaming, but to do concrete things. I'm expecting to give us a pathway. I'm not saying he should take us out. He cannot create miracles overnight, but let us be a pathway. Let us see that you are working towards it. Yes, he has said he has put some things in order in his administration. And so what he has done appears that Nigeria is suffering, but that, he made such a statement about that things, the reverse is the case. But Nigerians are here to feel it. Okay. That is the thing.
All right. Enerve, your first submission there. And Shola, when you look at the situation and you look at what Mr. President just painted, and the figures are not adding up, as in 27 states can hardly pay their monthly salaries for workers and everything, and the thing is biting hard. How did we get to where we are?
Well, Mr. Enakoko has said it all. Lack of proper planning right from, the past. And then we're having, you know, the idea of saying Nigeria is broke is just like we are all like patients who are having some symptoms of a particular illness for a long time. We knew something was wrong somewhere. We've been feeling the pain, we've been feeling the heat until we got to the doctor's quarter or the doctor's office for us to be given a confirmation, a proper diagnosis of what actually has been going on with Nigeria. The idea that Nigeria is broke was just confirmed by the president, but for quite a long time, we have been feeling it. Most people, even the common man, I mean, roaming the streets, he knew that there was something wrong with Nigeria. You could see it in the air.
With all the
it was everywhere.
The
you
largest
could see even from
economy in Africa that was celebrated 2 years ago or so.
But you know, I want to say this. Whether we like it or not, the tendency to have to blame the past, I believe we're just trying to beat up dying embers. The fire of the past that, I mean, whatever has gone wrong, has gone wrong. The buck stops now on the table of the president. You know, let me give you an example. Yeah, we know we are in a recession, whether you like it or not. It's been announced by that South Africa, that was second to Nigeria, in quotes, has overtaken us. And maybe there is a level of celebration out there, down south, I don't know. But it doesn't matter whether we are second or first. What Nigerians want to see is a leadership that is focused. You know, we know we are broke, but what are we doing to get us out of there? I think the leadership should be more forthcoming. They should be more, forthright in letting Nigerians know that, yeah, things are bad, but it's not as if the future is it's not bright. This is the time we need to be inspired. This is the time we need to see concrete economic policies that is going to be a way of cushioning whatever this, because, you know, when you say a nation is broke, there is a lot of, like a kind of domino effect that comes into it. What are you telling? You are saying you want investors to come to the country. If you want to invest in a country that is broke, I don't know what kind of investor we want to know, and we want to come into that kind of system with all confidence, if the president of the republic is not really oozing the kind of confidence that's necessary. In 1929, there was recession in the US. You know, things were going bad. People were even committing suicide.
Depression.
Depression. Let me say depression. But, you know, the way it is going, when the president comes over to say we are broke, it's like we are verging on the level of kind of, you don't know what is happening in homes now. People are really in trouble. So it is time the president rose, a la Roosevelt in those days, to assure us, to give us, that leadership that, yeah, things are bad, but we are going to get out of it. And these are the things we are doing. These are the things we are doing to make sure that these problems, yes. Yeah, I like his honesty, because, you know, the tendency to put things on that, let Nigerians know where we are. And I think he did that. But then we need that from the presidents. We want to see the confidence that we have a nation that will run and will continue to run, and that we are getting out of this problem. That's my take from here.
Thank you, Shola, for that opening remark. And Simon, you know, I was reading about Norway, and I discovered that...
Is it their oil?
Yes, their oil.
Okay.
And they were keeping, you know, they have a foreign reserve close to $800 billion. Now that the oil prices have gone down, with that money in the reserve, they're able to cushion the effects. So defend their currency, defend whatever, the economy and everything because of a time like this. That time, we're busy building stadia with bulletproof stadia, VIP stadia. We were, you know, frolicking, you know, we were buying private jets, we were doing all sorts of things.
Like prodigal son.
Yeah, not just, if you're talking about Norway, they have a very Statoil, that's their oil company, the national oil company that is very effective. They're in more than 30 countries. And they've been in existence for almost the same number of years that the NNPC has been in existence. NNPC has been in existence since 1977, that is, they are 39 years. And NNPC right now, does not even drill oil. I mean, all the contract, what
they
they're having
to
the kind of agreement with the international oil companies. So since oil was discovered in this country in 1956, and since the first barrel of oil was sold in 1958, that's 58 years, Nigeria cannot drill oil. Statoil drills oil. Statoil is present in more than 30 countries. So, I mean, sometimes when we talk about the problem that we are facing, I'm saying that the problem is even bigger. Yes, you can go after people who stole oil money, but what if Shell, Chevron, Total, and all of them decide to leave today? What will we do? We don't have the capability. And so it means that in 58 years, this country has not done anything. What we've done so far is that we produce oil, the Shell, Total, and all those international oil companies,
go and refine it.
They refine the crude oil, and then they share profit based on the profit sharing agreement and all kinds of agreements. Joint venture. So we don't do it. So if you have natural resources that you cannot even exploit, how do you intend to make money? So, I mean, coming back to what the president said, I understand his lamentation. You know, the 66 million people are extremely poor in Nigeria out of 170 million people. UNICEF just released a report, 2.1 million children are extremely severely malnourished.
2.1 million?
2.1 million children.
And I'm sure that they are being conservative with that 66 million.
With the figure.
Very conservative figure. 66 million out of 170 million.
It's a conservative figure.
I can tell you that if it's
very, very conservative.
140 million out of...
It's a conservative figure.
So, and then you have unemployment that is still at above 12% and even 50% for Nigerian youth. And I think the main problem, when people don't have the purchasing power, when people don't have money, this is what happens. I don't have money, I buy less. Because I buy less, people manufacture less. And because they manufacture less, they produce less, they sell less, and they end up having less money and they sack people, which is what is happening. So the question is, how do we go forward?
Go to filling stations.
You know, I mean,
they beg you to come and buy.
People are not buying fuel anymore. If you come to some places, I live with the masses in K2. I like to say it. I live with the masses in K2, and in K2, we used to have all those generators. People run generators till late in the night. Now you come back, nobody is running gen. Because people cannot afford it. I mean, when we talk about poverty, we are talking about all those things. People don't have money. They can't buy fuel. There's no lights. There's no light. If you go to ShopRite right now, a lot of them cannot even have basic things. I used to buy T-shirts. You can't find them. They can't import. They don't have access to dollar. I mean, everything is so, difficult. So the main thing, as I said, is the implication of the country being broke, the fact that people don't have money, and the fact that the economy is suffering.
How do we get out of this phase? I think the finance minister or somebody, or Minister of Budget and Planning was talking about the first quarter of 2017. When we can,
First and foremost, when you are in a problem, you look at those historically who have been in your shoes before and how they could get out, how they got out of the situation. He mentioned the Great Depression in 1929. It was the worst time.
In America?
We are not even in a depression, we are in a recession. And of course we had the financial crisis, which was a recession in 2007, 2008, 2009, when the Obama administration came into office, and when you have David Cameron and all of that,
was able to
these people in Europe. But you look at the models, how Europe did it and how the Americans did it. And you see that your best bet is the Americans. What the American government did under Obama, the Obama administration, was that when he came in, he subscribed to the notion by top economists around the country, people like Paul Krugman and all of that who are Nobel laureates. He subscribed to the notion that in a recession, you don't do austerity. That is when you should spend more. And so he came out with to stimulate the economy. So he came out with a huge bailout fund. The Republicans, of course, kicked and all of that, but we are beginning to see the effect of what he did. The Americans has unemployment rate of about 10%, has dropped basically to about 4.9% now, 4.95% now. That is what he has been able to achieve in 7 years. You can see that. That is pragmatic leadership. The bailout fund was in excess of $1 trillion. He bailed out auto industry. The auto industry was down before Chrysler and the rest were down. He bailed them out. Go to Detroit, everything is working well. You understand? He came out with a signature healthcare law that was not able to achieve for over a century. He came out with a lot of whole stuff. But then on the flip side, look at Europe. Europe decided to go on austerity measure. And today they are still battling with recession. A lot of the countries there are still battling with it. So what this president needs to do is not also to tighten the belt and start doing austerity. In fact, I don't even believe that 27 states in Nigeria cannot pay. There is no reason why oil producing states in this country should not be able to pay salaries. There is no reason. If Lagos State can pay, I don't see any reason why Bayelsa should be owing salaries. I don't see why any oil producing states, and we have about 10 of them in this country, should not be able to pay salary because the money they are receiving is huge. And what led us to this need? It wasn't just because the government was wasteful. It was also because part of the money they saved, they spent it in frolicking in doing elections. Let's tell ourselves the home truth. A lot of the money, most of the problem that put us where we are already in a bad shape, we know, but the real problem that put us here was the monies that was spent for electioneering. And it cut across all divide, not just the then ruling PDP, including APC control states. They were also guilty as well. That is what put us in this mess. But how do we go forward from here? Where do we go from here? We can only move forward if this president and his administration, the economic team, begin to look critically at the so-called austerity they are doing. This is not time for austerity. This is time to really stimulate the economy. You are talking about intervention funds. You are talking about creating jobs, 500,000 employment and all of that. You need to we need timelines. When is the application process really ending? You've extended it. When are you starting the recruitment? When are you creating these jobs? When are you empowering people to actually do this? You talk about paying 5,000 naira to people, vulnerable people. When are you even giving this little sort of money that you say you are going to give? And who people are going to benefit? Let us see concrete plans. What is the blueprint for taking us out? That was why I talk about a pathway. That look, we understand the problems, but don't keep telling us about the problem. We already know. You talk about inspiring confidence. I need a president who can inspire confidence, who can make me know that, look, at least I believe in you. We are in this mess, but you can take us out of this mess. It's a rough time, but there's lights at the end of the tunnel. So money is still coming in. Go give us a bill. You see, America is owing. In fact, their debt is high. Highest debt in the world. But Obama still came out with that bill for the Republicans kicked. But today, Americans are beginning to see the impact. They have gotten out of the recession. They are not yet hit Uhuru. But they are very, very much on the way to the top again. And they are still the greatest nation on the earth. That is the way to go. Let's not model our this after Europe. Because Europe is still in crisis. Apart from Germany, the UK, perhaps even France, and a little few countries. Most of them are broke. That's the truth. And when I say broke, I'm not talking broke as in Nigerian sense because they can still pay their bills, pay a huge lot of their bills. No, that's not like, even when we say Greece is broke, we can't really compare Nigeria because those guys can still fix things, can still do a lot of things. Here, we cannot pay, we cannot finance things. He talked about the fact that people can no longer import, and it's true. Yet we still have the government subsidizing those who are traveling out for pilgrimage. When you cannot subsidize small business to import, you are subsidizing. So these are the things. That is why I said these are policies from source. Such policies and such should not be. That is why I was talking on radio the other day, and somebody was telling me, why am I mentioning Buhari? It was Jonathan. I said, look, I understand, but we are not talking about Jonathan here anymore. I'm talking about Buhari now. If Jonathan did something wrong, hell, he's gone. Must this president do the same thing wrong again? Must we keep recycling the same thing? Let him do something right. I agree Jonathan did something wrong. We all kick against it. We all do this, but God's sake, the man is no longer there. You are there now. Must you toe the same path? Give us a different. Let us see light.
Shola,
yes.
In the midst of all this, and the 2016 budgets, I thought immediately after the budget was signed and the promises in that budget, we've not been able to feel the impact, and I don't know how the federal government, how they've been able to, I saw the vice president yesterday talking about ejecting 100 billion naira into the economy in the next few days, as he was saying, something to stimulate and everything. But this is August. We are running out of.
Well, a government that wants to be serious about getting the country out of that broke situation must hit the ground running. So if there are lapses, those days, all the bureaucratic bottlenecks that will stop the budget from being implemented right from the beginning, and then you do it right with all the departments, the ministry department agencies, what we need to do to be able to keep the nation moving. If it's still been retarded by a number of issues, problem with the National Assembly, problem with releasing funds and all those things, I don't think we're going to get there. If the president wants to really be, because whether he likes it or not, in the next few months, people will be, they may be tolerating him now because they know that he inherited a lot of problems. But when it gets to a level, Nigerians will no longer listen to any excuses. So we have to know how to really go out and work and do the right thing. But let me just take you back a little bit more. I think we continue to go in circles if we don't remember that there has been a lot of over-dependence on oil. The reason why we're having this problem is because we put all our eggs in one basket. So what will have cushioned the effect of the problem of crash in the world oil? Because he was talking about bailout fund for the...
okay, let me quickly take my first caller.
Yeah, okay.
From Niger State.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, thank you for joining us.
I'm very happy to, I'm very glad with all your contribution over there.
Thank you.
The problem of Nigeria right now is problem of foreign cash inflow. It has clearly shown that what we have in now, especially our foreign reserve, cannot sustain the economy. And I think the president has gone a little step further by encouraging people to go more into agriculture, which I believe by the end of this ruling season, we'll start seeing the effect of that innovation. Let me also respond to that man wearing Ankara, his definition of subsidizing treatment. Well, I want you to know that Nigeria is spiritually based. We all believe in God and we all believe in prayers. And we all believe the wonders the prayers can do. There's nothing bad in subsidizing towards going on holy privilege to pray for the good fortune of the nation. That is that. Again, with the bailout situation given to most governors, I think it is high time the federal government called on the governors to clearly spell out the areas where this bailout fund should go. The bailout should not be fund for spending legislators for merriment and there. By the time they address the issue of salary, what is left should also be injected, especially in rural development and agriculture. By so doing, I think we'll move ahead.
Thank you, Banara. Thank you for your contribution. Banara calling from Niger State. Simon, let me, because, let me allow you to wrap up. Just quick.
The idea is, like you said, agriculture and other, whatever the budget is doing now, is to make sure that we get the budget to stimulate other areas of the economy beyond oil that can help us to be able to get out of the problem of the crash in the price of oil. Because if we continue to depend on it, we don't know, anything can happen in the world and the thing can go up, but we are not so sure. There is a lot of force majeure or whatever is happening there. So what we can do about the other areas of the economy so that we know we are no longer, we can no longer afford to be a mono economy country. And I think that's the best
they got that
forward.
signal.
Yeah.
Simon, last month, I mean, the last time they shared this
federal allocation.
Yes, the last time they shared it.
Yes.
No, it's improved more than the previous one that we had. Now, my take home from that there is that in Federal Inland Revenue Services, brought a large chunk, and Nigerian Customs Service now showing us that we are moving away from, that emphasis on oil. There's still some sector in Nigeria that's very vibrant, very viable, that if we focus our attention to agriculture like this government is trying to do, we'll get it right. And at the end of the day, oil might not might be a compliment.
I want to say something about oil, right? I mean, everywhere you go, people keep saying the same thing. They say, we shouldn't depend on oil. And I'm saying that there's nothing wrong in depending on oil, but we've not even done anything about the oil. I mean, we own the oil, but we can't drill it. Shell, Chevron decide how much is the cost of a barrel of oil. So they remove their production cost first, and we now share the profit, having removed the cash call and all those things. So the issue of we have natural resource that we can't do anything with it. So in 58 years since we first sold oil in this country, we've not even, we can't do anything with our oil. What we get is we share little profit. So the first thing that we need to do, because right now, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. Right now, oil is still our biggest, cash cow. So what we should do is that we need to take control of the oil. So we need to have a plan. The truth is, the president cannot really tell people the truth. The truth is, if he does what he's meant to do, it's going to become very unpopular. Right now, in every state, even the federal government, almost 70% of the money goes to paying salaries.
Recurrent expenditure.
And if he sacks people, he becomes unpopular. So, I mean, how do you do it? Your money is going into paying salaries, and if you sack those people, you become unpopular. And because all the money is going into paying salaries of civil servants, and some of them who are not even in the offices, they are not productive, they are not doing anything. If he sacks them, it becomes unpopular because he promised to create millions of jobs. So I think it is in a tight corner.
Let me quickly take John from Kaduna. Thank you for joining us, John. Hello, John.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
I just want to contribute on your topic.
Quickly do that.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that the government did not do what they're supposed to do. They refused to do what they're supposed to do. The truth of the matter is this. I think the government should be up and doing and forget about the criticism. Criticizing the past government cannot help us at the stage we are. I love the second man who said it is absolutely wrong if we keep on focusing on the past and not thinking on what we can do for the masses. I think the masses are suffering seriously in this country, and the government should be up and doing and find lasting solution to the problem we are facing presently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John from Kaduna there. When we return, Raymond Alego Dokwa says PDP may not survive its current crisis. Please stay with us. It's still Journalist. Welcome back. Still Journalist Hangouts. As the leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party gets deeper, the national chairmanship aspirant of the party, Chief Raymond Dokwa, has warned that the party may go into extinction if it does not get it right during the forthcoming national convention. Dokwa has called on the leadership of the party to reform it, otherwise it will not survive its current crisis. On the zoning of the chairmanship position, it stated that it was wrong for the zonal body to further zone the position to the southwest. It dismissed claims that he is engaging in anti-party activities by contesting in the election for national chairman after the southern zone of the party zoned the office of the southwest zone of the country. Meanwhile, last Wednesday, attempts to make peace between Senator Alimadu Sharif and the chairman of the National Caretaking Committee of the party that is Ahmadu McCarthy. Right now, the opposition should be telling the federal government what should do right economically, and where anytime the federal government is not doing it right, should be hitting them, hard. But they are busy fighting a battle, intra-party squabble in between the People's Democratic Party. Next Wednesday, they are going to have a convention. And Ali Modu Sheriff is saying that, number one, the condition for peace, shelve this convention, dissolve this McCarthy committee. And those ones are saying, no, they have the McCarthy caretaker committee, they have the majority, they have the structure, they have the governors, they have everything. But on paper, Ali Modu Sheriff seems to be having upper hand. But in terms of followership and all the structure, it's Ahmadu McCarthy. Where is this going to get the People's Democratic Party?
Well, it's unfortunate, but that the PDP has refused to learn home lessons, critical lessons. But these are some of the things that I've written about, I've campaigned about years ago, even when they were still ruling PDP. I saw some of the things they were doing, and I said on several occasions that the PDP was on its deathbed. And that the only thing that is actually remaining is how costly the funeral will be.
How costly?
The funeral will be. Now, being on your deathbed, does it also mean that you can recover? It means you are critically ill. You still have some slim chances of recovery.
State of emergency.
That is even when they were not at this level, when they were still ruling PDP. I saw some of these things and I said it, but they still go back doing the same thing over and over again. So Raymond Duplessis may not be far from the truth. But what the PDP needs to do, otherwise there's serious implosion coming, and that is that they need to put their acts together. You see, in the UK, for instance, now you have the opposition. You know what they do? They have what you call shadow cabinets. So for every cabinet member in the government, let's say you have Lai Mohammed as Minister of Information, you have a cabinet. You have a shadow cabinet for that. You have a shadow, so that is ready to take on that ministry when they are messing up. That is what opposition, the vibrant opposition. It was a vibrant opposition we had from the then Action Congress of Nigeria. Let's not talk about the CPC or other political party. The then Action Congress.
Constantly,
constantly coming out, bringing us sort of.
People,
yes, some of those things may have been propaganda. Some of them, but they were able. Constructive criticism came out. That is why there was able to be a paradigm shift and also a power shift. We need that same type of opposition. PDP has not learned anything, and I'm looking at them like, what did you learn all the years you were in government? Is it just only how to pilfer, to loot the treasury, and how to fight yourself? Because I can't see them. Olisa Meto that even used to talk in the early days because of corruption cases that have been slammed on me, suddenly it went quiet. Even the common sense senator that used to come out every time with twists and all of that, because of a loophole in his own business that he was running that he could not manage, Ancon just clamped on him, and suddenly he has gone dumb. The tiger that is on Twitter has suddenly become, he was a tiger on Twitter, he was a quiet lamb in the Senate, but now self is even worse off. It's like he has suddenly got crippled. So he's no longer talking. The only opposition voice we have in the country now is Fayose. Unfortunately, Fayose, because he acts like a touch most times. I'm sorry to say, but it's true.
He's a city
governor. It's a city governor. I don't want to insult him, but
also
I don't want to say that. I know it's not tolerated, but that is how people say. Because we are journalists, and I will hear what people say. Those are the things a lot of Nigerians say. He makes a lot of sense sometimes when he talks. That is the truth. He makes a whole lot of sense, but because of his, action, the way he goes out, go and eat bole, all those kind of stuff, and people are saying, so people are not taking him serious. It's not as if he's not making sense, but they're not taking him serious because of the way he conducts himself. So, but that is the only viable opposition. Even FFK, who used to do a lot, he's not doing much the way these days. And most of the time when he writes, we need to wonder, where is this guy writing? Is he even making sense, or are there facts? Because you see, as journalists, you look at facts. You don't just look at propaganda. When something comes, you want to be able to think critically, like analyze issues objectively.
They want to find oil in the north. And somebody wants to separate the country.
Exactly. So we need, if they are not fact-based, I'm not going to take that. If I just look at it and say, what is this guy talking about? So that is what I'm saying. We need a vibrant, and if we don't have a vibrant position, the government of the day will think all is well. The feedback they are supposed to get, they will not be getting that feedback.
They won't be under pressure.
They won't be under pressure. And of course, even our traditional opposition among Nigerians, Labour, is also gone.
They've lost their voice.
It's gone. They've lost their voice. They are factionalized. Civil society is virtually dead also. Which credible
Those
civil
ones,
society voice in this
they've
nation?
joined, they've aligned with political parties.
The top human rights organization, including the one I even headed as chairman in Lagos, the Civil Liberty Organization. Where are they today? I remember even when I was chairman of Civil Liberty in Lagos, on that, when the Jouranalists administration was the government, we were always coming out doing something. But now that one is virtually dead. The campaign for democracy is virtually dead. I'm going to call names, and nobody can do me anything because I'm not here to come and please anybody. I'm here to say what I'm going to say, and nobody can shut my mouth. I'm going to call their names. Civil Liberty Organization, the Committee for Democracy, the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. Where are they all gone to? Yes, where are they all gone to? These are organizations that we know. United Action for Democracy. Where are all of them?
The days of
These are the organizations that we know. And then where is organized labor? Where is organized labor? So Nigerians are now at the mercy of God. You saw a critical comment that I made that everybody knows is the truth. I said, why is the government subsidizing pilgrimage when you can subsidize small businesses? If you are giving $197 to this thing, give it to a business to do, and somebody was saying that Nigeria needs to pray. When shall we stop praying for Nigeria to get better?
Let's go back to the People's Democratic Party. And inside the People's Democratic Party, Wednesday is their convention, and Alimadu Sheriff is still saying no. Because I'm afraid that the well-publicized Port Harcourt convention, if they go ahead with it, and eventually a new chairman emerges, a new National Working Committee emerges, and the courts, maybe the Court of Appeal, they have 15 court cases, joint court cases against the leadership of the People's Democratic Party. And at the end of the day, the Court of Appeal might just say, look, like the one you had in Port Harcourt earlier.
Well, all I can say is that PDP should, they are still suffering from the, what do I call it now? It's like they've been drunk with power, with enough money, with a lot of things for 16 years.
And they still have that money around them, a lot of it.
And all of a sudden, they just discovered that they're behaving like orphans who have perhaps no father figure to be able to bring them back from their wanderings. Even common migratory birds, those birds that travel far.
Alex Ekweme,
yes,
they've not given them a say in that party again.
They come back.
Olusegun Obasanjo is out of the party.
So it's the kind of thing that you see when such father figures are out of the situation. But still, I want them to get.
Audu Ogbe is the serving minister in APC.
Yeah.
Barnabas Gamade is in APC.
Yes.
Those people that.
So where are the voices of reasons? So you can see what happens when things get to that level. But still, like you said, it's not as if the end has come. There were days I had personal experiences in the past as a journalist in Abuja when you'll be expecting a kind of crisis to come tomorrow, but overnight, a lot of meetings and all those things will be done by the PDP. And in the morning, you just hear a national policy decision and everything will die down. Yeah, Wednesday is the day. I still believe between now and then, a lot of things can be done to bring everybody on the table and we see reason prevailing. Now, that is one. The issue of zoning or no zoning. Well, Dr. Dokpesi, I sympathize with him. He has been campaigning, traveling all over Nigeria.
He has been to 35 states.
And he has really done a good campaign. He has been able to use his media power to create the impression of somebody who is really serious. To me, if we're going to be fair, in terms of campaign and in terms of being serious about what he wants to do, he has shown that he's really serious. But sometimes, the interest of the party will prevail in a normal political democratic situation. If you're a Democrat, no matter what you've done, you have to come down. The same thing applies to Alimadu Sheriff. Some people are giving us the impression that because he has spent so much and all those things, because of that, he might have been, shortchanged, so to say.
But if the interest of the party
should come above any other personal interest. If they don't do this and they don't get, already people are singing the what do I call it, the non-dignities or the dirge of the party. Now, if they want to allow those, it's like they are holding the hammer. The PDP members themselves are holding the hammer, trying to apply the hammer on the last nail. So it is left to them to decide, because if you say don't zone to the west, Are you going to say don't zone the presidency to the north? If it is going to be based on zoning, and if that's the way to move the nation forward, then whoever is involved should be able to toe the party's line.
But
if you don't do that,
the caretaker committee chairman said something. He said, for that fact that it has been zoned to the southwest, that does not exclude any other person.
So
that's the more the merrier, but it's just what's
that is the
direction.
ideal situation. Because when in the process of doing that, that means there's still going to be a lot of misgivings all over. So somewhere along the line, look at what happened. Look, just recently, we know what is going on in America. It's not as if everybody was happy about what happened. I mean, about Trump being their candidate. There were so many people, even up to now, are really boiling. But because of the interest of the Republican Party and their desire to at least make sure they also get back to the White House, they are tolerating Trump. Though some have said no, because Trump has not been helping matters.
If you check the Democrats too,
the
Bernie Sanders had to,
the man came,
had to come and he was in
the
nominate. That's look.
So what is wrong with the PDP? Even in Britain, after Brexit, you know what happened? Even within the Labour Party, some members wanted Jeremy Corbyn to leave, the leader of the Labour Party in the UK. But you know, it's like everybody is trying to rally around because they know whether they like it or not, Brexit has come to stay. We have a Theresa May who is the Prime Minister. The nation is moving forward. If you don't want to be out of relevance, then you have to come together and form a good party. So if PDP will not learn from that, then I'm sorry, the end is very near. That's just my point.
Simon, what do you make of this back and forth from the People's Democratic Party?
Okay, the first thing I can say is...
Okay, let me quickly take this caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for joining us. Egono from Lagos State.
It's not Egono, it's Eguono.
Egono.
Yeah, it's Eguono.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sorry, I've been calling the wrong number since my call just went through now.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to contribute from where first and foremost, I want to react to the first speaker when he called Fayose a tap. I think we are in a public. When he called Fayose a tap, that is when I picked interest to call. I'm not a PDP, I'm not an APC member, but with what is happening, let's go on the issue of the PDP. PDP has, if there's not taken, PDP has gotten it all wrong. Because when APC, what brought APC into power is their power of opposition. You find out when La Mohammed was the publicity secretary of the party, every now and then, every second is always publishing what happened, even lying, deceiving Nigerians with what is not happening.
I don't know about that.
We know, we are calling, but people believe him. But now you find an APC like Olisemeto was active before now, but immediately the anti-corruption commission get rid of him. He became silent. He died politically.
No, it's still alive. It's still alive. It's still alive. It's still, the last time I checked, I think Olisameto is taking care of his health.
Yes,
he was having some
health challenges. No opposition in Nigeria again. That's the reason so many things. What is happening everywhere. In fact, there's no opposition at all. The way it stands now, the ruling party can do whatever they want to do.
Thank you, Egwano. Thank you for your contribution from Lagos State.
Okay. The only thing I can say about it is, I mean, it's really unfortunate. There are so many things going wrong that PDP could have, seized the opportunity. Unemployment is high. The level of poverty is high. Inflation is high.
All-time high.
And APC is involved in internal wrangling at the Senate, at the House of Representatives. I mean, almost everywhere. The ministers that the president appointed, we can barely see them. I mean, maybe 1, 2, but we don't really feel them. I mean, one would have thought that PDP will seize this opportunity and try to,
gain momentum
and then be the opposition party. But it shows that it was never about the people. Someone said, the interest of the party. Actually, it's the interest of the people. What do you have to offer the people? There's poverty. The price of food stuff has gone up. How do we solve it? 66 million people are hungry. 2.1 million children are severely malnourished. How do we, and there are so many, myriads of issues. How do we solve it? So I think the thing is, it's not about the people. The focus on who is in power, who is the Senate president, who is the speaker, who is in charge, instead of what can we do for the people. And I think that we need to shift the focus and try to see how we can solve the people's problem. It should be about the people. And when you fail to do that, you lose the
So the purpose of all these internal squabbles and everything, it shows that they don't have that
of
interest.
course, the same thing even within the APC. I mean, you see the fight at National Assembly. What if Saraki is not Senate president? What will that change? How many bills will they pass? The PIB, the most important bill in this country in the past 10 years, the petroleum industry bill, they are not passing it. And there's uncertainty. In the past 10 years, they are not doing anything in the oil industry. When are they passing it? So if you guys are fighting, if people are fighting in the House of Representatives and the Senate, and the people don't see any result, everything keeps going up. People keep losing their job. How do you solve our problem? So that's the issue. So you lose relevance and people don't listen to you. I think that's what happened to PDP.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I agree with him, because after everything, what's the goal of politics is to make the society a better place. But still, the PDP, to be a virile and viable opposition, needs a good platform. And that platform is having a strong party. If there is no platform, if it's the same, story all over the place, no unity, everything is scattered, we're not going to have a good opportunity to be able to, stand as a good opposition party. So that's what we're saying. Let them get their acts together, set their house in order, and become a real party. The party that used to be the party of the past, that people can also look forward to as an alternative. But if that is not there, how can they fight?
Yes, on the same issue, I've said it and I've said it over and over and again. The PDP needs to put it all together. They should look at what the then Action Congress did, which is now APC. Do what they did. The other man was talking about lying. I'm not going to say lies. I did use the word propaganda. It happens in the politics and every time. But they need to look at that. They need to look at best practices in other nations of the world. How are they doing this thing? That you are in the opposition doesn't mean you have lost that. No, you can take power in the next election. People, the Democratic Party have been in opposition before, the Republican have been in opposition before. It has always been like that. In fact, the Republican has been more in power in the last 100 years in America, more than the Democratic Party, in terms of being in the White House. But you see them handling, and the Parliament, the Congress is very powerful. The National Assembly, so this fixation on the presidency is what is killing us. Well, if you have a viable opposition and a viable parliament, if let's say, for instance, now we all know what has happened in the last 1 year, that the PDP was able, despite the fact that they have messed up a lot, they were able to have what you call de facto leadership in the National Assembly. In the PDP and in the House of Reps, they are the de facto leaders. The jury leaders, of course, it is the APC, but by de facto, they are the ones controlling, because they set they determine who became the speaker, who became the Senate president. They did it. That is power there if you know how to harness it.
And David Mark was a very strong...
That's what I'm saying. That is power there if you know how to harness it. But you know what they've done? They only did it, like you said, for their own selfish. It's not about the people. If it's about the people, we won't be having what we're having now. Just to address what the last caller said, I didn't say Fayose was a threat. I only said acting like. There's a difference. And people need to remember that, because they said that someone will not going to quote me. And when I said so, it wasn't because I really wanted to call. That is the perception as a journalist that I hear people talk about every time. They said that is why they are not taking it serious. We hear it now. As a journalist, when you go out, you do your work, people, you get feedback, a lot of feedback. They say that because sometimes we argue, why are they not taking serious? This guy is talking sense. And I know he's talking sense. But they say, why should I take somebody like him serious? So, but it's because also they are not putting their house in order. The same thing with Police Ameto that we also mentioned.
All right, we have to move on now. The Borno State government has commenced the rehabilitation of boarding schools which have housed internally displaced persons. The government approved 86 million naira for the renovation of 8 schools that have been homes to IDPs in Maiduguri. The renovation work on the school is expected to be completed in 2 weeks. Boarding schools won't be open due to the security situation in 4 newly liberated local government areas. Meanwhile, a few days ago, the Nigerian Army expressed optimism that the government secondary school that is in Chibok in Borno State will reopen for academic activities in September. Gentlemen, what's your take on this? Simon, let me start from you.
Okay, this has been like 1 year since, I was arrested in Cameroon and accused of being a Boko Haram spy.
You had your own fair share.
It is well with you.
And so I saw it. When you go to the refugee camp in Cameroon at the Minawawo camp, where you have 60,000 Nigerians, and there are thousands and thousands of
60,000 Nigerians.
60,000 Nigerians in Cameroon at one refugee camp. And I was the first journalist to leave from Lagos and to go there. So I saw it, and there are thousands and thousands of children who cannot go to school. Right now, the United Nations says that there are almost 500,000 children who have been out of school. 2.5 million people have been displaced. So it's a national and a regional catastrophe. And that's something that we should address. I mean, reopening those schools is something, is an urgency, something that has to be done immediately.
Because they are just in the IDP camps eating,
yes,
and the children
yes, they are eating, and a lot of them, especially those who are in Cameroon and in Niger and then Chad, some of them who have been given birth, they don't have a birth certificate. They've not had it for the past 2-3 years. I mean, those are Nigerian children who don't have birth certificate. They don't go to school. And when they teach them in Cameroon, sometimes they don't have enough English teachers. I mean, I'm talking about those who are outside. Now, coming back to Borno, I mean, I believe that is the same situation. You have people who have been displaced by Boko Haram, and they have nowhere to go. So for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, those children don't go to school, and which is a danger because they may turn out to become maybe the next criminals because they are not receiving the education that they were supposed to receive.
What do you make of this, Salah?
Well, at least I think we should also somehow commend the government because it shows if we have enough room or the peace of mind to be able to renovate, that means there's a level of peace that's been established there, and we have to give it to the army for what they've been able to do. So, and in doing that, that means whatever is necessary to make sure those children, he was just giving us statistics, it's really scary.
It's alarming.
So we have to make sure that everything is put in place to get these children back in school. But we're talking of reopening Chibok girls. We're not even, what about the girls? That's another issue. It's like we are quiet about it a bit. It's also part of it because while this is happening, the day it's opened, the parents of the girls will have they will feel it. So what are we really doing to make sure that something is really done to get these girls back? At least for us to know what is their situation for now. So good work. I mean, that shows there's progress, but it should be done in a way that we see proper progress happening in Borno State.
Yes, I think it's wonderful what the Borno State government is doing, but I think more is also needed, and I believe that other state government, especially also the federal government, should key in, collaborate to help Borno State, because it has been a disaster. What is there? What is there is an emergency. I think what the president ought to have even done in the first place to declare a state of, when I say state of emergency, I'm not talking about state of emergency in terms of military. I'm talking about economic, in terms of economic empowerment or economic deployment. That's the kind of emergency I'm talking about, an economic state of emergency in that state. Because we even hear of cases now, but from investigations as journalists, that even the resources that are going to that area are being diverted by the managers of the fund in terms of relief material and all of that, that most of them are being diverted and are not getting to the people who actually need it. And so you see some of the pictures that came the other day of minority students, and you begin to wonder, in this same country that we are living in. So, and then you begin to say that, that means I'm even having it go, even though we are all crying about the economic crunch and all of that. So a lot really needs to be done, not just the opening of the schools, but I'm talking about the relief material that are coming in and being able to create a pathway for those assets, for those relief materials to actually go in, so that even the people who are coming from UNICEF and from the UN, they will not be attacked and all of that, and let it really get to the people. Let people begin to have conscience. Those who are managing it, for why are they diverting it? And this idea that there's not enough for everybody is really wrong. It is sickening. What is meant to feed somebody else? Look at the bones of those children coming out. We need to really help them. And of course, education is very, very important, because when you don't feed the mind, a lot can go wrong. So education is more important. I think they need to do more than they are doing
As we are
now.
taking our last take now, Simon, even if the federal government, if the state government, if they want to reopen the Chibok school and some other schools, that means we need civil security, we need police, we need security to even protect the students.
Exactly.
We need to be sure that the war against Boko Haram is has reached a level where we can go back to school
regularly.
To school. Right now, I don't know, because a lot of us don't really do investigative journalism. That place is not safe for journalists to go there.
The military will not even allow us.
They won't allow us.
I would have loved. But for foreign journalists, they allow them. I don't know.
Yes, they do allow them.
I would have loved.
They don't allow us. We've made requests several times.
It's true. They don't. It's only foreign journalists that are doing
access to. I would have loved to, for us journalists to do more investigative reporting to establish the level of safety in that area. Right now, what we are having is a statement from the military. We've done this, we've done this, what they want us to do. We don't really have people who are doing investigation. And I would also have loved for, a lot of rich people. We are not doing what we are supposed to do. There are rich people who should sponsor some grant. People should go to Cameroon, Niger, and Chad and see the Nigerian people who are there. Thousands and thousands of people who have been displaced by Boko Haram and who are not even being, who are not the focus of, journalism and investigation.
Shola?
Yeah, I think we've said all. We should just be sure, because it would be terrible if we had to go back to the past. If the security is okay, like the army is making us to believe, because I said earlier that, building and all those things means that it's kind of... So they should just get it right and make sure we don't have a repeat of what we had in the past.
I want to thank you, gentlemen. Simon, thank you. You're making your debut today on Journalist Hangout. I want to see more of you, Simon. Thank you. Ashola, thank you for coming again. Nice. And also, Eneru and Akoko, you're making your debut too.
Yes.
Please, we want to see more of you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. And you can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That is youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Have a swell weekend. Bye for now.